So, good morning. Me and Marley are taking a walk through the park. We've driven about 10 miles, and I just felt like we needed to start seeing some scenery instead of me just sitting in the van. So, we've got our little walker, and not every place can you go with a walker. But I've been thinking, why do you think there's so much fraud in our EBT and SNAP and food stamps? I'm a little shocked, to be honest with you. Very shocked. I didn't realize someone could get $4,000 a month for food stamps and $2,000 a month for cash assistance. I don't even know what that is, cash assistance. Why do you think that's happening? I know people are desperate for money, but this has been going on for years. I had no clue. And why would people go online? And the only way I know it's true is I wouldn't listen to the news or anything, but people are actually going on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, but they're filming themselves talking about their food stamps, how much they get, what kind of cars they drive, what kind of cash. Why would they do that? And saying how it's the taxpayers' responsibility to pay for their lifestyle. They've never worked. They have Section 8. I don't get it. And maybe it's my age. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? This is kind of shocking. But not only shocking. Why are we doing this? Why would the government give that much money out without accountability? Without someone showing what they're doing with the money? Or, I mean, in business you're accountable. You don't make a profit if you don't watch your nickels and dimes. And our government doesn't even watch its $100 bills, much less its nickels and dimes. I had this boss, World Savings and Loan. She passed away 20 years ago, 30 years ago. But anyway, she was a penny person. If you watch the pennies, the dollars will take care of themselves. And she was really, a tightwad. Now, I had AP, so I paid purchasing bills. But if I let something get past me, oh man, she was on the phone calling me up to her office. Why did you pay this expense? You know I don't do that. And let me give you an example. She only paid for plain paper clips. The colored kind with all the reds and blues and yellows, all those color-coded ones, no. She wouldn't pay for that. That was extra money. So she wouldn't pay for that. So one day, everybody in the company knew she's really got a thing about paper clips, okay? Everybody knows. But we have a new person in purchasing. And she brings in her own colored clips. And I think it was red. I'll never forget. So, it's red color, a colored paperclip. And it gets to Mrs. Sandler, her office. This paperclip's on a piece of paper for her, okay? The one person who has a fit if she sees anything but a plain paperclip. Man, I get a phone call. Lindy, I need to see you in my office. I'm like, okay, all right. So I go up, she shows it to me. She goes, what is this? What is this? I said, it's a red paper clip. Did you pay for this? No, ma'am. As far as I know, I've only paid for the other. I want you to find out who this paper clip belongs to. I kid you not, guys. She gives me the paper because I followed the paper trail with that red paper clip, and tells me I got to find out whose paper clip that is and how they got the paper clip, and give her an explanation before the end of the day. Yes, ma'am. So I immediately go to purchasing, and I'm like, guys, where did this paper clip come from? You know, this is so-and-so's. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I know who that is. She's pretty new, and yeah, oh yeah. So I go to her office, and I look at her, and I go, where did you get the red paper clip on your paper? Oh, you know, I brought my own, and I like to have color-coded paper clips so I know which each one means. And I said, no longer can you do that. Mrs. Sandler is very upset. She only wants plain paper clips. We do not pay for anything other than plain paper clips. You cannot have this red paper clip. She had red and green and yellow. You know, with it's like a coating they put on them. Anyway, I proceeded to go back and tell Mrs. Sandler that she brought her own in. She was brand new. She didn't realize she couldn't use them, and I made sure that she understood. And I hoped that this wouldn't happen again. I can't promise because I can't control what people do. So that's just a little story. But that's somebody really watching the pennies. They were very, #1 profitable, most profitable SNL in the United States for a couple of years. And Mr. Sandler was on, and I don't know which president this was, because this is what I was told. I don't know. I do know he went to meet the presidents while I was working there, because he was on committees, financial committees for the President of the United States, and he would fly up there. Oh, that's another story, guys. Yeah. When his credit card, a multi-millionaire, I pay for all his credit cards, right? I pay for all his stuff. If his car gets fixed, I paid for all of it, okay? And his credit card gets declined. Oh my gosh, you have no idea. Now he was really nice and very calm. Mrs. Sandler was very excitable, very demanding. He was laid back. You know, it's okay, Lindy. Let's find out. So he goes back east for this huge meeting, financial meeting, with the President of the United States, no less. And he's in Washington, D.C. at some fancy hotel. And his credit card gets declined. So as he's standing at the counter, he calls me from the counter. He has many credit cards, so he can pay it on another card. But this is the card he's using for this trip. So I can keep track of all the expenses. So anyway, he calls me and I go, oh, Mr. You know, he doesn't, if he calls, I have a problem, okay? If he calls, I have a problem. This credit card didn't decline me, Lindy. Can you find out what's happened? Oh, yes, Mr. Sandler, I will. So I go through my records, and that credit card was paid. And we made it on time. We took a discount because we could get discounts if we paid a certain days in advance. I rarely ever missed any bills whatsoever. And I say my department, because I had a 19-employee department. So, yes, it was paid. So I call the credit card company, and I go, what's going on? Why did you decline? Well, you haven't paid the bill. Yes, I have, and I have. I called the bank. I got the check. It already went through. I gave them the check number. I gave them, and they found it, and they had applied it to someone else's account. Boy, and I said, well, I'm going to have to explain this to Mr. Sandler. And we were a huge client of theirs. Huge. And they said, we would like to call him ourselves. And they have his phone number. And apologize. So this credit card company called Mr. Sandler and apologized. And they paid for his whole stay. He was not charged for anything on his credit card. He could put it through. They paid for everything. I didn't have to pay for it. as an apology because they made an error on his account and they didn't want to lose his business. Now this was in the 80s, like 88, 89. Can you imagine? Yeah. Oh, he was very happy because him and Mrs. Sandler were so cheap. You know, they didn't want to spend money for anything. I swear they didn't. He was a little bit better than her, but not much. He was thrilled. Oh, he called me up. He goes, oh, Lindy, they called me and they're going to pay for all my expenses on this whole trip, other than the airfare. You know, his hotel room, his meals. All he had to do was use the card, and they wrote it all off. So that's another story when I was working for World. And I forget when it was number one, the most profitable and the number one SNL in the United States. I'll have to look that up and see what year that was. But they talked about it. You know, how proud they were. And he was on the president's council. You know, I could care less. I just want to make sure the bills were paid. I didn't get any of those benefits. So, yeah. So I'm, you know, I don't know what happened when we stopped watching our pennies, our nickels, our dimes. I certainly watch mine. And guys, one day I was at Walmart, and this has happened to me a couple times. I've found a lot of money on the Walmart parking lots. Well, a lot, not a lot. I think I've found $40, and I found it was like 500 pennies. Pennies everywhere, all in one spot, and they were like discolored. And I thought, what is this stuff? It was almost black, and I don't know if somebody had accidentally dumped it, their penny jar or whatever, pennies all over in 2 parking spots. And I picked every one of them up, guys. And I find dimes and nickels and quarters. I pick them up, and I have a certain place I put them in a bag. I have a zippered bag just for found money. And then eventually I'm going to go in. I've been doing it for 5 years. I'll go in and I'll get the change, you know, I'll dump it in that change machine, but it's not full yet. As soon as it gets full. I just thought you might enjoy seeing a place around here. And so I'm going to show you a little bit of the park. I may talk and I may not. Thank you so much for watching, subscribing, and liking, and making comments and sharing. All of this helps me make a little bit of money to support my, you know, to back up my Social Security. You know how that goes. I'll see you next time. I give you all my love.